become a millionaire. And we as young people, again, and I'm talking from a dad being an agriculture, being an agriculture man, I grew up at 11, we used to cut wattle, that is the sticks that we put in fish pot. So we got on a donkey at 11 and we went, and I was like, you want to be a hot girl, you don't want to do this, because it was a lot of work. Hot girl ride donkey, child. And by the time I got to school, people used to bully me because they're like, you're riding a donkey. So now, my other sister, she has now glamorized it. Like, it's really not as difficult. And I feel like that has to be the thing where young people see agriculture is value. It is what we eat. And I don't think as young people we have that, because all we're seeing is the hard work. And we as young people, the technology that has made everything easier. It's just about us getting that in their faces.
Thank you very much. I have the lady in the back.
Change the word from lazy to that you just demand more, because when you see other people's life on social media, you start to want that. I'm also a teacher, and what I do for activism is volunteer time, and every youth that I know is doing multiple things at one time. But yes, what you said is we're disconnected from how we feel ourselves because of capitalism and different structures. So, yeah.
Thank you. In the back. And then we have one hand over there and one hand over there and the gentleman here. Yes, okay. So, please.
I took a research of my research fellow based at the University of the West Indies in Bono. I research migration. One of the things I look at is climate change and human mobility. But I had a question for the mayor and the minister that has to do with simultaneous crises and how small states are managing those, because there was mention of Haitian displacement at a session on climate change. So I was just wondering what our national governments are doing within the context of CARICOM to manage these simultaneous movements.
Good. Thank you. We will just take a couple of questions if that's okay, in order to, yes, please go ahead.
Good morning, I'm Vanya David from the Commonwealth of Dominica, representing the Caribbean Progressive Development Center. I work with the National Council of Women. I'm thankful to all the presenters because I sure learned something that I have not heard before from each and every one of you. And so my question was to Mayor Bernard. Mayor, you spoke about the benefits of migration, and you talked about the remittance, that people sent in. But we have a language that we use at home, as I said, Dominica. We talk about legal migration and illegal migration, meaning some persons come in legally and then you do not know when they disappear. Do you have an issue with that, or can you give us an example how it affects negatively now?
Yeah.
Thank you. And take one more, if that's okay, just to make sure that we get all the questions in. Yes?
Sure. This is specifically to the delegate from Fiji, because you're speaking on planned relocations. So in the ABIS, in the document, they talk about the language is that they're moving people, but while recognizing the importance of safeguarding and passing tangible and intangible cultural heritage from generation to generation. How do you guys factor in these pieces? Is this part of what you're talking about with the check boxes of everything on top of all the actual logistics of moving people, and what does it look like to try to preserve cultural heritage while moving an entire village?
Okay. The lady in the back.
Leslie Waldman, American University of Antigua, Associate Dean for Global Health. My challenge actually has been that I have sons that have migrated. My sons are two excellent professionals, but they've migrated. And I've pleaded with them to stay in the region and develop the region. So my question to all of us is how can we enhance education, develop professionals, but maintain them here, or at least have some plan in place that after they have gained experience abroad, that they can come back and integrate into society and improve standards and help us achieve our sustainable development goals. Thanks.
Thank you. Very good question. To make it gender balanced, we make sure to have the gentleman up front as well.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Kevin Clark. I am a first year master's student. Well, actually, this is including my first year, but first year master's student at Florida International University, studying in Library and Caribbean Studies with folks in Caribbean and International Relations. I guess one of the things that I believe may have been missing a little bit are the travel limitations that we see within SIDS, especially between SIDS, right? So, for instance, of course, there have been attempts to bridge that gap. I'm going to come from a Caribbean perspective, right? The CSME freedom of movement policy, as well as even the things occurring within the OECS. But also, we still see that flights between islands can be very scarce at times, but also very expensive. Oftentimes, it's easier to go to Miami than it is to go to the Caribbean islands, right? And so I wanted to ask a little bit about that. I know there have been movements, right, ferry system as well as Rehab 2020, but there's still more that needs to be touched on and analyzed.
Thank you very much. I knew that there might be more questions, but I think we will do let the panelists address these questions, unless we're kicked out of the room by another event, and we can continue for another round. But maybe we start with the mayor. There were a couple of points for you, so please share your observations.
My good friend here, in respect to the legal and illegal migration, in the context of Belize, we understood that there was a number of illegal migrants within the confines of the country, obviously, and we wanted to really provide a mechanism that get them out of where they are. It's about people, and one of the sustainable development goals really focus on people and having them become a part of the society. Some of them have been in Belize 10, 12 years. They own land. They've been squatting on lands. And so the government took that stance that, listen, rather than have these migrants with no future, just they are working, many of them providing farming, helping with labor in many of the different rural communities. Why not integrate them into our society? They've been living here 12, 15 years. And so they put in place that sort of policy and that migration hub where the government went out to them. It was a big project, it lasted for 2 years. We went to over 56 sort of hubs within the entire country, going out to the different communities, the different farmlands, and meeting the people, having them screen, filling out the application, filling out the process, and getting them integrated and becoming a part of the formal system rather than operating informally. We believe that aided us a lot in agriculture. They serve as one of the big supporters in agriculture. And when COVID came in 2020, and we had to really jostle to how we will feed our people, food security was very important then. We found out then that the migrant population were the people that were putting the food on our table because the entire country was locked off. And so that in a nutshell, I believe, really propelled the decision making in 2021, 2022 to let us have these people integrated formally into our society.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, she's with the Haitians. Yeah, our migration has been across the entire Caribbean, Central America. And Belize is very unique because it sits, we always say that we're in the heart of the Caribbean and Central America. We are on the mainland, and we are the only English-speaking country on the mainland. And we have a huge number of Haitians migrants who are working in our society, where they have applied for the migration process as well. And most of them, I will tell you this, most of them serve as taximen, the dollar vans. They run that sort of local transport in Belize City, in the city that I am the mayor. They run most of the dollar vans. And they have been very receptive and very law-abiding citizens, to the best of my knowledge.
Well, the question was that the migration plans don't, but in my opinion, they don't address these types of mobility. So it's really like an ad hoc response that happens post a major influx of persons. So is this something that your country and or CARICOM thinks that you should be looking at more directly to form proactive rather than
Yeah. In the context of that question, our migration ambition was really based on the foreign ministry, was to really have over 40,000 migrants into our country. We fell short. We only were able to appeal to 13,000, and this is across the entire region. But that was the goal, to get 40,000 migrants into our country.
Could I rephrase that question very quickly, just to pick up on it?
Yes, very quickly then, please.
Well, just to ask it, I suppose I'm asking the same thing, but do you think it's worth it that CARICOM countries have a framework for those who are in crisis in the Caribbean, if you want to call them refugees, if you want to call them whatever it is, because that would certainly apply to what's happening in Haiti right now, for there to be I don't know if you call it a fast track, but some sort of legal process where if you're in that situation in the Caribbean,
They should.
you can. So do CARICOM countries have that now?
CARICOM should. We live in a inclusive society, and we are one big Caribbean family. We can't see ourselves as, say, Belizean or Belizean or Jamaican. We have to see ourselves as CARICOM, and that is the direction the policymakers should appeal to.
Should.
There was a question for Fiji specifically, and then we'll go to the minister. Fiji first, and then to the minister. We go the reverse order now.
So just a quick one so that I don't take the discussion away from CARICOM. It's very interesting. When it comes to cultural sensitivity for relocation, it's a real issue. In Fiji, 92% of land is owned by indigenous. And these are the very, when the indigenous are the ones that are severely affected. So all these relocations are relocating indigenous. Now, not to say that the ones that we relocated, the ones that we moved because their land exists in a safer place, those are the easy ones to move. Because you're just moving them from one piece of land to another which still belongs in their tribe. The difficult one, which is the one that we're currently working on, is when we went to inspect the land that belongs to them, even the ones that we inspected were also deemed unfit for them to actually go in and stay in. And so this would then mean that we need to relocate them to another landowner's land, because even for government land, because it's smaller in percentage compared to natives, we had to move into that space. And this would then mean that the landowner, and as you know in the Pacific, and I believe here as well, land is you, it's an identity, it's you. So when you do give that away, it's like cutting part of your body away from you. So that was a very difficult conversation to have. So that also involves other government ministries coming in to ensure that when we do move them, that it is documented, it is legalized, that I am sacrificing and I'm giving my land away to this group to this community so that they can move in. And so when it comes to that, the compensation and all that, government handles that. But in terms of at the very local level, it's very difficult, but it's a conversation that government has had for 2 years with the particular landowner who has to give up his land to the community that needs to relocate that. But thankfully that has happened. We've gone past that stage now, so we're just in the process of moving them across.
Thank you very much. I know that we are holding the panelists a bit longer, but they of course have other commitments as well. But the minister, if you would like to address some of the points that were made.
Yeah, I wanted to sort of piggyback on the indigenous conversation here. Also look at the Asian policy, migration and climate change, and also free movement of people. So all of those, I think, there has to be political will. Yeah. There has to be political will at the CARICOM level, because we do have a declaration on immigration. We signed on to this last government, yeah. But how do we get this from written document in some function? That's important. And I think we do have a good example in the indigenous community. I am from an indigenous community. Before independence, there was free movement of people. My ancestors traversed the entire Caribbean region on a canoe, and then independence came around, and with all the heat being our flag, a national song, a flower, a dish, and then we partitioned by our own political will, we partitioned the entire region. And so the only small functional part of the Caribbean that is still sort of free to move is the OACS. But you have a common currency, that's important, common currency. And then you have a common language, and then you can move around the region. So that's a good example. But the wider Caribbean region has failed us really, because we have different currencies. Yeah? Some islands have the posture, I'm a bigger country than yours. And so we have that posture. So we have to tidy it up. It's sort of what we have to do internally for ourselves. There's no outside agency that's going to help us do that as Caribbean nationals. Yeah, we come to Antigua, you go to Costa, everything. Like you're foreign, in your own land. You're a Caribbean citizen in your own lands, but you're going for that scrutiny. So it's easier for me to go to a European country maybe than to come to the region. And so that's important, because the climate change issues in Dominica after Hurricane Maria, we saw people have to move in. We had construction companies from St. Lucia coming in. Various agencies came from Jamaica, they were moving up people. And so we come with when there's only crisis to have a sort of an organized movement. We have to move beyond this. I think the models exist, but we have to citizens of countries have to hold their policy makers accountable for going out in the public and international forum and signing declarations, not just to look good and as a campaign or political gimmick, but something that will truly reflect what's important at the grassroots level, to get everybody on the ground on the same to understand that when we do make these declarations that we come through, because these are important critical issues. Just to get to Antigua, trying to get a flight, staff will have to be routed through Miami and just get to the Antigua. So how do we tidy that up? So that's all dirty laundry in the region. We gotta fix this up, because I think that's one of the issues that doesn't allow people to take us seriously. On the case of how do we entice people to stay, we have to have incentives on the government level to get people to come back. Pay them a decent wage. Your son is going to come back to Antigua, knowing that he's getting paid in EC and XCD, and he could get the equivalent in US dollars, and he may love his country, yes, but he wants a better life for himself and his family. And so we have to create policies that will entice people to come back. Because we do have scholarship programs, for example, in Dominica, where we give our students to go to international world to get trained. But we are ensuring that when they come back home, they can find this work. And also, but when they do go out, that they will also be ambassadors. So also, it's a smoothness, it's a balance, because we may well want more of our professionals out in the international world, rallying our call for change, rather than being in a small Caribbean space, for instance. But so we have some work to do. A lot of work to do too.
Yes.
And I think we started to do it, and it's something that we can continue to do, because I think